You know they're
I'm
irresistible.
Sandy.
Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy Benton with the Chris and Sandy Show, where we get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I said, every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We have Daphne Maxwell Reid with us today. She is an American actress, comedian, designer, and former model. She is best known for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and her role as the second Vivian Banks.
And we're going to talk about that and then
A
some
lot
more.
more.
So welcome to the
Okay.
show.
I got a lot going on.
Awesome.
Now, I'm going to kind of start this different than I normally start with because, I mean, this was our show.
We probably watched every episode.
Fresh
Yeah.
Prince of Bel-Air. So when Fresh Prince took off and you took that role as Aunt Viv, as you know, back then, Aunt Viv was America's aunt. How was that for you?
It was just a job. I had done so much television before the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that I thought, okay, here we go. Here's another job. This is lovely. Hopefully it'll go on longer than all the other shows that I was on. But at that time, there was no social media, so you didn't get a vibe from the audience except the audience that was present when we were taping, and perhaps some news reviews. It was not. It was just another show.
But yet, the people like us, you were Aunt Viv.
Yes.
Everybody has their choice and they're allowed to. I have no problem with that.
I love that. Yeah. You know, last couple of years have been rough for a lot of people, but especially in entertainment. And I always want to talk about that because, as you know, the entertainment world got rocked when it comes to the whole pandemic and all that. So how has it affected what you do, and what have you done to maneuver through the last couple of years?
The last couple of years.
Uh-oh. I think you're froze.
There we are.
There you are.
There it is. It's clear.
SAG and AFTRA have the best COVID protocols. So we continued to work because we had a safety net around us. And everybody had to take tests and they had to be masked. And certain people couldn't come close to you on the set because they were in group B or C. And only certain people were able to come up, and they all had to be masked and shielded. And at the beginning, gloved. It was, since nobody knew how this thing was being spread.
Yeah.
So I was blessed beyond measure to be working on projects that had these great protocols, and we just continued to work through this pandemic.
Love that, because that's just like with our show. We launched this show January of 2020, so a couple months before the pandemic. And I remember our original plan was maybe 100 interviews first year. Thought if we could do that, be a great foundation. And then all that happens, and I'm like, I told Sandy, I was like, you know, this could be our year to shine, because people like you and the other big actors and artists and all that, they're going to need a place to talk, and we're going to give it to them. So we stepped it up, and we ended up doing over 300 interviews that first year and over 500 now.
I am not surprised, because when we weren't working, we were at home. There was nothing else to do but remain locked down.
Yes.
Now, you've done a lot of stuff throughout your career, but let's go back to the acting a little bit, and we'll get some of the other stuff in a little bit. Did you always know you want to be an actor? When was that moment where you thought this could be a career? What was that moment?
It hasn't happened yet. No. Back when I started, I got to college and I was modeling and got discovered doing that and had a great career doing that. It was just something that I was doing at the time. I went to college and got a degree in interior design and architecture. So that's where I was headed. But modeling came up and they were paying me to sit there and smile. Yeah, I could do that. So I did that. And then from there, I started doing commercials. And I speak English. I speak well. I know how to read. So I did great commercials. And I thought, oh, this is a nice way to earn a living while I'm getting ready to do my architecture, my interior design. And then
Yeah.
this guy named Bob Conrad came to Chicago to shoot a series called The Duke.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
he hired me to play a role. Okay, let what how do we do? Okay, yeah, I can do this. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I had been doing some acting in high school, and I was with the group theater workshop with Robert Hooks way back in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
They became the Negro Ensemble Company. I went to
Oh,
Mhm.
college,
wow.
so I didn't continue on that path. I didn't see very many examples of a Black woman earning a living doing this. So it was
Wow.
not
Right.
on my
Mhm.
radar. It was a system of, well, it was a process of opportunity, professionalism, and preparation. So I prepared for being there, but I
Mhm.
wasn't projecting to be there.
Wow.
Okay. Yes.
Came
It was like
as
when opportunity rose, you rose to your
I
occasion.
rose with the opportunity, and it was a time that they were looking for somebody like me. So the stars aligned, and I got started in this career.
Now,
Awesome.
when you got picked for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you being the second Aunt Viv, did you feel like you had a role to that was already set? How did you feel about that?
I had a job. I was happy to have a job on a show that was excitingly popular, which was
Right.
very
It
good.
was.
I had done some amazing shows that were popular for a hot minute,
Uh-huh.
and then they
Mhm.
were gone.
Ah,
And
yeah.
some of them are treasures, but I had never been on a show that was contemporarily popular.
Okay. Mhm.
So that was a lark to me. I was not trying to be anything like the first Aunt Vivian because I am not the first Aunt Vivian. She
Right.
had her own talents and style,
Mhm.
and she was doing what she does. I could
Yeah.
only do what I do,
Ah.
and
Mhm. That makes sense.
they hired me to do what I do, and that's what I did.
So what did you think about the reboot?
Love it. And it's not a reboot. It's a reimagination.
Ah.
Oh, I like that.
It's a drama. It's beautifully shot. It's tremendously cast. And oh man, it's wonderful to see all of our original characters
Yeah.
get rounded out. You get to see what they were like before and after. When we're doing a half-hour sitcom, you
Mm.
get the character's point of view, but you don't get much about the character because we're
Yeah.
all
That's right.
putting
Mhm.
in our 2 cents to whatever challenge du jour we were working on that week. And this show, oh, the new Bel Air gets to see, oh, these characters have a backstory. Let's hear a little bit about that. And
Mhm.
it's so beautifully done.
Because that's what's great about a show and series. You know, you can do that where, like, This Is Us. I mean, they're a great example of where you can, you know, I know some
When
people
you
are like,
have
well,
an
why do they
hour.
keep showing these backstories? But to us,
We
that's what
we
makes the
love
character so
seeing
powerful is the
backstories.
backstories of each
What made
character.
them who they are.
And you can relate to them a little better
Yeah.
because you have a rounded life. You're not
Mhm.
Right.
just a two-dimensional character. So it's
Exactly.
really
Mhm.
lovely to have the time to investigate that and to share that.
Mhm.
Now, as you know, a lot of people, they see the glory in everything that you have done and do, and but they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes to get the high levels. And we always want to talk about that
We do.
side of it
Mhm.
because, as you know, a lot of people kind of skate over this one. It's like, well, if you got talent, you can make it. We both know that's not true. It takes so much from timing to talent to work ethic to just everything. So tell us a little bit about some of the sacrifices and struggles you've had to go through to even get to where you are today.
I sacrificed my first marriage.
Wow.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
he wasn't moving fast enough for me, and I was ready to go. So I left and I went. Um, you have to make choices in your life for whatever you do.
You
Mhm.
do.
And each
Mhm.
choice can either lead you down a good path or a not so good path. And if you find yourself going down the not so good path, get off the path and change direction. I am one to jump off of a cliff. What's next?
And build your wings down, right?
Yeah, I'm just the adventurous one. I'm the one who is ready for the next challenge, the next journey, the next place to grow and learn. I love the journey of learning. And each time I do a different portion of whatever career I'm in, I try to learn as much about all that's going on around me as what I need to do personally.
Yeah.
When I go on set, when I first started, I wanted to know, oh, that he does the lighting. He's making me look good. How can I help him make me look better? Oh, this is the sound guy. Okay, he needs me to do something. I learn how to do that. It's knowing that it's a team effort and it ain't all about you. The actor is the last person hired. No matter how much talent you have, if the person who created that character doesn't see in you what they imagined, it ain't you. It has nothing to do with you personally. It has to do with what they conceived that character to be. And if you can bring that spark to that character, that's how you get the job.
Wow.
There are a lot of actors out there who are very, very talented, far more talented than I am, and far more ambitious than I am about this business. And they don't get a shot. It's not because they're not talented.
Yeah.
Stars have not aligned and their opportunity has not arisen. So they need to put themselves in different positions to be noticed. Do the local theater, do the school play, do whatever regional is going on. Put yourself up to be a production assistant if a film is coming through town, so you can find out where you want to fit into this business, because there's a whole lot of things going on behind the camera that are far more steady work than waiting to be chosen as an actor.
Now, do you think that there's actually more opportunity now for actors and actresses? Because, back in the day, you had just your main networks, HBO and all that. Now you've got so many different HBOs, so many Cinemaxes, so many Netflix. So you got so many more opportunities, I think, for people.
Yes, but that also means that there are a lot of platforms to show work, and it doesn't all have to be good. So, yes, you get a lot more opportunities, but you don't get the hand-holding and craft defining that you need with somebody who is going to support your efforts. Netflix had been doing great work. I don't know what the problem is now. The stock market doesn't like them today, but back when I was starting, there were 3 networks, and we happened to hook up with CBS. So every show we did was on CBS.
Yeah.
And they treated us like we were of value to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now they don't have that kind of coddling, I would call it, but there are so many more platforms that you can approach with a project and get funded for. Getting funded is the hardest part. So be good.
And, being seen in this day and time is actually a little bit, it's like a catch-22 with social media.
Yes.
If you're an actor and actress, you can start posting daily videos of you doing skits or whatever. And all of a sudden you can get traction, and then all the big executives will see it. But then at the same time, it's a catch-22 because you come into an exec and he likes you, but if you have almost no following, they're questioning if they should bring, because they want you to add as much value as you can to their project.
Yes, a lot of contracts now say that you will post on social media. What are you talking about? You post it.
Is it not a wild world that we live in right now?
It's a wild world, and it's a great time for people who want to show what they've got. But you only get one good shot. So make sure you're prepared to shoot that shot and do it well.
earlier you're talking about how you dive in. That's how I do that too. We've dove in so many things, and like when we launched this show, I remember I told Sandy I want to do this show, and she was like, "Why? What?
Yeah,
She was like, "Nobody knows who we are." She questioned,
Oh,
that
definitely.
could this even work? And I'm like, and then she was like, "Well, what would we call it?" It was the Chris and Sandy Show. Worked for Bobby Bones and Ty Bentley and many of the other people out there. And she was like, "Okay," but she didn't really have 100%. She
No.
wanted it. She wanted to believe in this. She believed in me is what mattered.
That's
And-
all. That's all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here we are, over 500 interviews later.
That's true,
we have been
yeah.
talking to many people from our past that we looked up to.
Yes, it's been great.
It's just been an amazing adventure.
Wonderful, wonderful.
But we have to dive in.
Yeah, you got to
we had to
dive
go
in.
all in.
You sit on the sidelines, you get nothing done.
That's so true.
Because I remember we were started out as was going to be just a weekly, but I realized real quick that there's too many people to interview to be a weekly show. And when I made the announcement that we're going to go 5 days a week, I had so many people, "Oh, you're going to run out of people. You're going to burn out and this." But I also knew that if we were weekly, then we'd compete with everybody. If we went daily almost, that would push us above and beyond what everybody else is doing.
Good. And once you're out there, they'll find you.
Yeah.
and it's been
That's
working.
right.
So now that we talked a little bit about the sacrifice side and all that, let's flip the script and go your way. Talk about some of the glory side. Let's talk about some of the recent things you've done, and all that. What's going on now?
Well, right now, this very month,
Yeah.
I'm working for my husband.
Yeah.
He's got a filmmaking training institute called the Legacy Media Institute. And we do an annual fashion showcase, an international fashion showcase.
Oh, wow.
And I'm working. He's got me working. So I'm kind of deep into that this month. And soon as June is here, I get to breathe again once the show is over.
Yeah.
Get back to the creating of things that I want to create. I've done a lot of shows that have popped up this month.
Oh, wow.
I was on the new Bel-Air series. I played a character there, and that was a joy to go work for. I call her Aunt Viv 3.0.
There you go.
And all the wonderful behind the scenes folks that they have, the camera people, the writers. It was so glorious to see so many Black people working behind the scenes, making such a glorious project. It was something that we had dreamed of doing back in the 80s when we were producing, and 90s, and lifting these people up to get an opportunity to be there and to see the results of all that we put in was just amazingly glorious and such a joy to work with.
And that's what's great. Things are becoming more culturally, again, through all races. And we love seeing that.
Love that. Yeah.
Good. Been working on little independent movies. I did a series of Christmas movies. We've done 2. We're getting ready to do number 3 this summer, called The Business of Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And it's on BET Plus. And then I did a little movie that is a little thriller that just came out this week called Trophy Wife. And that's on BET as well. And then I got to do an episode of Fantasy Island for Fox TV. I've been busy and just loving it.
How all these years you've stayed active and all that, how have you balanced? Because again, you've been married for a long time. And how long have you been married for?
To Tim, I've been married 42 years. 40 years.
Because this year will be our 20th.
Yes.
You're
So we're just babies.
a third of the way there.
So how has it been? Because again, I think that's one of the things that people miss when it comes to acting and all that is because you're on set so much and all the stuff that you do, you're really busy. How do you balance everything?
You got to take it day by day. The relationship is probably the hardest part. but you have to start with an understanding that you're both going to grow according to your own personal growth. You don't stick together like this, and life doesn't go that way. You go like this, and you're like this, and you got like this. It's so you just have to understand that there's a basis of love there and respect, and the the kind of thing that you did, Sandy, just support whatever they're trying to do, and they support what you're trying to do. So we've
And
had
what's crazy about this is
lot of practice.
What's crazy about this, she's the reason why we're doing this show, because back in the day, she always followed my dreams. And I remember back in 2013, I was like, you know what? You've always followed my passions and dreams. Her dream of songwriting was one. So I was like, let's chase that for a little while. And so we wrote a lot of songs together.
And that was
it was so much fun. But because of that, it eventually led to us doing a little show, website called New Country Buzz, was for up and coming country artists. Then which we eventually shut that down. Then 3 years later, brought it back in 2018. And then 2019, we had this crazy idea for a show, for an up and coming country music show. So and then all of a sudden COVID happens, and then we changed it, and it evolved from just a country music show to an entertainment interview show. So again, because of her passions too, we found a way to build a life and a legacy around both of our passions together.
Right. And that's how you stay together. If you build passions and you can't do it together, you can't relate to each other in your separate passions, that's not going to be very helpful for your marriage. But if you have a basis of respect and love, the heat goes down. You start off all hot and heavy. But you have a basic trust, love, and you want to be with this person because they're interesting, because they're bringing something to the game, because they're helping you grow. It's what I would consider the necessities of making a marriage work.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people jump into marriage not realizing what it's going to, because, if you're thinking about self all the time, marriage is not going to work. Because I always tell people, a lot of people are like, I'm going to be independent totally, no matter what. I was like, don't get married.
Don't get
married. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are a handful of marriages that do make it for the lifelong, where they're fully independent on both sides. But very few marriages can survive the long haul if both people are fully independent.
Right. And the most important things to us are our family. I mean, we had children to raise. We had to get them through and on their feet. And thank goodness they did a great job of that. And we just get the glory now of our grandchildren, just watching them grow and being molded into the people that we respect and love.
Or one of viewers is Brandon. He asked, what was your favorite part of playing Aunt Viv, and what was it like to work with the talented cast?
My favorite part of being Aunt Viv was being there and working with that cast.
Wow.
We have become family. James Avery was a love to me. He and his wife and my husband and I would hang out. We would travel the world together.
That's great.
We really like each other. So that family is one that has stayed with me, and we have stayed connected for 30 years.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
I have worked on a lot of shows. Nobody's as connected as we are.
Now, everybody probably asked you this since what happened with Will Smith. What were your thoughts on that? Because again, it's in the news, it's always out there. And, to me, it was out of character, and that's so tough because, you look up to Will Smith so much and you see that. But we all have those moments where, man, I'm glad I'm not on camera for that moment.
Yeah.
I have no comment.
Okay. We understand that. But so as we move on here, what is next for you?
Oh, let's see. I like international travel, and of course, we've been shut down for 2.5 years.
Oh, right.
Right before COVID, I had just returned from India, And I was
Yeah.
ready to go up the west coast of Africa on a cruise for 26
Mhm.
days. They've
Wow.
all been canceled. So I am anxious to get
Yeah.
out of Dodge.
Yes.
I want to go and do some more photography. Yeah, I shoot doors
Okay.
around the world, and then
Oh,
I
wow.
create things
Oh,
with those
yeah.
doors, including these tote bags that I have back
Wow.
here. Those are my
Yeah.
photos from other trips. And I write books about doors and just try to get people to realize the power of going from A to B is the details of the journey from A to
Mhm.
B.
Yes.
Pay attention
Mhm.
to the details in their life because it really makes it a rich journey.
Yes, it
Otherwise,
It
does.
you just
does.
get to B and you got to start all over again, getting to the next point that you want to get to. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to help people dream and live with the details around them, being present to
Yeah.
what's around them and noticing that, not walking around with a phone, thinking that
Oh,
they're
yes.
living.
Love that.
That's
Mhm.
that's not life. Life is all around you, and you should absorb all you can as you pass through, but you only pass through one.
Yeah. Because that's our
Mhm.
passion is travel. Like yesterday
Oh,
for
yes,
Mother's
we
Day, we
love to
shot up to
travel.
I mean, Charleston's only 2 hours away, but we shot up to
Yeah.
Charleston to spend the day in Charleston. We went to one of their local churches there that we always go to when we go to Charleston, and spent the day in
Oh, it's
Charleston,
such a beautiful
and
city
then
to
come back
walk
to
through.
Savannah
Mhm.
afterwards. But we do a lot of that. We have like daily trips where we go either Jacksonville or Charleston, both 2 hours away.
And we have 2 young kids, and they love it
Oh,
too.
yeah. Great.
And like last year, we went to Nashville 4 different times. This year, we're going 4 different times.
Did
So
you
Yeah.
selling your songs in Nashville?
we're working on
Maybe
it.
someday. Working on that.
Good, good,
In
good,
fact, we're really connected in Nashville, and because of that, next year the plan is to move out to Nashville.
Yeah, we love the
Ah,
area.
our son, who is in the music business,
Yeah.
lives in Nashville.
Oh wow!
So
Ah,
he's
yeah.
like
And
me
what
so
and a
far.
lot of people don't realize that when most people see Nashville, they think country music.
It's
But in
not
this day
country
and
music.
time, it's not only
It's
every
all music.
genre, but it's
Mhm.
also a lot of film is coming near now too.
Yeah.
Good, 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 good.
'Cause I
Yeah,
think they're trying to be the alternative to LA.
there's lots of alternatives to LA.
But I mean,
Yeah.
Nashville's a beautiful city with a lot of history and all that, and it's a great place, and we go there a lot, and and we love it there, and the people there are really great, at least the ones that we know. So
Oh, yeah.
I know there are always oddballs out there, but for the most part, people have been
Everywhere.
great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like to travel internationally because I like to see new cultures and see
Oh, yes.
craftsmanship. I'm a maker. I make things with my
Mhm.
hands,
Oh wow.
and
Wow.
I
Mhm.
appreciate things that are made. So doors attract me for the craftsmanship as well.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I like to see cultures, different cultures, how they treat things,
Mhm.
what they eat, uh,
Mhm.
Oh
how they
wow.
relate to each other.
Yeah.
I like international travel for the growth of me personally,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
exposed to a lot of different things.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about Daphne Styles.
Daphne Styles is my line of fashion that I do customly. I don't manufacture
Okay.
because each of my pieces that I make are they're handmade and one of a kind. They're art pieces. They're not just something to wear. They're wearable art.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I custom make coats out of Chinese silk brocade. And I'm a
Mhm.
fabriholic, and I fell in love with Chinese silk brocade and
Mhm.
started making a style of jacket that I used to wear all the time, all different colors and and patterns.
Mhm.
And people used to stop me and say, "I want, where'd you get that?" I say, "I made it." No, would you make me one? I'm like, no.
Oh wow.
Wow. Mhm.
So finally, for one of our fashion shows, my husband said, "Please do a line of your coats that we can use on the fashion show." Okay, okay. So I did, and I set a price, and they walked down the runway, and they walked on out the building. They bought them, and I said, "Oh,
Wow.
okay." So I will custom make these. And then the second year, I made linen swing coats, and with crazy linings inside of them. They just were so much fun. And I did a whole rainbow array of colors of linen, and that went very well as well.
Wow.
So those are the two things that I make. I don't want to, I'm not like a dressmaker. Yeah, what do you want me to make it? No.
Yeah.
You want to go? I'll make you one of these.
Yeah. Brandon asked, what was your favorite meal?
And my mask.
Internationally, yeah.
I make masks, of course, during the pandemic. I made designer masks.
Oh,
and
wow.
I made it so that I could put HEPA filters in them because I knew that the transmission was orally and nasally. And I said, I'm going to protect myself and my customers. So
love that.
I did a bang up job on masks. I did a lot for some nonprofits that I work with.
Oh, that's good.
Custom masks for them, and they gave them away as part of raising funds and things like that. So that's the kind of thing I like to do, is to give so that people can grow.
Love that. Now, Brandon asked, what was your favorite meal you eaten internationally?
Anything in Italy. They have the freshest food. They have the simplest, most tasteful, real food that I've eaten anywhere.
Wow. Love that. Now, as you know, a lot of people, they see you, but they don't see the team behind you. In our opinion, teams never get any love.
They don't.
On our show, they get some love. So if you want to take a few moments and just tell us about the team that helps you be who you are.
Here she is. The team is right here. I don't have anybody working for me, with me. I have a publicist that I have only when I'm doing a lot of work, and her time is just about up for this session. And I got an agent. I don't have a team. I have to do what I raise children, grandchildren. I got a grandchild in college near me, and it's me and she.
Me, myself, and I, right?
And I run a household. I sew. I do photography. I do things on my computer. I do press. I do Instagram. I do all these things all by myself.
The good thing is, if you ever do get a team for some of that, you'll know how the job works and you'll know if they're doing it right.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of times in the acting world and the artist world, they get taken advantage. They hire PR people or hire other people, hire agents, and then the agent don't really know what they're doing, and the actor don't know that they don't know what they're doing. So then they get really screwed up, and then that becomes a little horror story for the actor and all that for down the road that they can tell one day. But you want to avoid that.
Yeah, but I'm an impatient person, and I can train you to do something, but in training you, I could have done it myself faster. So I'm just not patient enough to have anybody work with me.
I love hey, authentic answer, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, speaking of teams, we have a third co-host, our little 10-year-old that we bring on and ask a couple questions.
Oh, yes.
So
He's
Sandy's going to go get him.
Every show. I'll get him.
And ask a few questions.
Okay.
So while we're waiting,
his point of view. Okay.
So while we're waiting for him, where do you want to be in 5 years from now?
On an island somewhere in the sun.
We all want that, right?
Oh, why not? Or traveling the world somewhere. I don't stop. So I really don't project that far into the future. I might know what I'm doing this summer, but I might not. So 5 years from now, I haven't a clue. My whole life could change in the next 2 years.
The last 2 years proved that, right?
Oh, yeah. And I did well. So I'm not going to complain about what's next. I'm just waiting to see what it is. Oh, a handsome young man. How can I help you, sir?
I hate these things, so what's your favorite food?
What would you like to ask me?
I said, what's your favorite food?
What's with Aunt Viv?
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is, let's see. It's simple. It's a nicely scrambled egg. I like breakfast foods.
Because what's yours?
Mine is pizza.
Oh, no. Pizza, I can't eat too much of that.
He'd eat it all day long if we gave it to him.
Most children can.
All right, so
can't.
what's your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show right now is The Gilded Age, or Grace and Frankie, or This Is Us.
That's
I
our
have
favorite.
a lot of favorite TV shows.
Because what's yours?
My favorite TV show is SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Okay. Which character in SpongeBob do you like the best?
Patrick Star.
Ah, the star. Why do you like Patrick the Star best?
Because he's funny.
Okay. Isn't SpongeBob funny?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what's your favorite movie?
Okay. Movies?
Mhm.
Haven't seen a movie in years. Let's see. I can't think of any movie that I'm just jazzed about.
Because what's yours?
Mine is Minions.
Dominion.
The Minions.
Oh, the Minions. Oh, I love them.
They built a really awesome brand, I tell you, because even our 3-year-old,
They're so cute.
that when we're in a mall or something, if there's a Minion in a store, we have to go in there.
Yeah, I like Minions too.
They really attract the little
They're
kids.
really
Which, of
cute.
course, Sandy and I will watch it. I mean, there'll be times where they're watching it and then they leave the room and we're still watching it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, bye. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, I like that shirt with the brakes on it. That was pretty cool.
It had green in it, and we got a green screen. So
That's a green screen. Yeah.
you know, sometimes he loves to wear the full green shirt because then all you see is his head.
Just disappear.
Yeah, he's a floating head. Then he jokes
We
about
joke
that.
about he's a floating head, and I was like, that would be a great rock band, the Floating Head.
Floating head.
Why not?
And I always tell people on the show, so okay, if anybody ever does that, we get credit. Floating Heads.
Yeah,
Floating
we
Head
put
is
it out
started
there.
here. Better trademark it.
So, what's been your hardest role to play? I haven't had a hard role. I've really Oh, wow.
enjoyed everything I've done. Oh boy, hardest role. Oh, when I did the movie Harriet,
Oh,
we were
Oh,
on
yeah.
location
Mhm.
and we had to do a lot of running through the woods. I'm an
Okay.
older person. We, we had to run through the woods. We had to walk through a pond in the middle of the night
Ooh.
in full wardrobe, in
Wow.
cold, yucky water. That was
Mhm.
probably hard, but it was probably my favorite job of the last few years because I was so honored to be a part of that movie.
now what did
Oh,
you
yes.
learn the most about yourself playing in that movie?
That I could be present in another time.
Yeah.
That's good.
I like that.
So, what's a series that you've seen on TV that you wish you had a role in?
Oh, This Is Us. Oh, come on.
I mean,
Us too. That'd be our
His
pick.
wife. The uncle's wife. Yeah.
There you go.
My friend got that role, so I'm happy for
oh wow.
Oh, yes. So what are some things that inspire you?
the laughter of children, nature, craftsmanship, a good story, laughter.
Oh, great answer. What would you like for your legacy to be? What would you like to be most known and remembered for?
She was a kind person. She always helped. and she had a great smile.
Oh, love that.
Love that. So let's look, say, 15 years down the road, and you're already a success, but you're even grander than ever. And what do you hope that you never forget?
I hope I never forget that people are people, that your relationship with people is the most treasured thing that you can ever have.
Love
so
that
true.
answer.
It
So as
is.
we start to close out here, if somebody wanted to do what you do, what advice would you give them?
Be careful of what you ask for. It may sound easy. I was gifted by God with a lot of different talents, and I manifest those talents as best I can to honor those gifts. You don't want to be me. You want to be all of you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Recognize your talents, your gifts, and explore them. Manifest them, because that's what makes you you
You know,
and not
Mhm.
somebody else.
like I remember when we were launching this show, I reached out to a Nashville friend of ours and asked, what advice he'd give us as we launch. And he said, whatever you do, be and stay authentic. He says, you might can tell every Bobby Bones joke, you might can tell every Ty Bentley joke, or any of the other hosts out there, their jokes, and you might get away with it for a little while and create an audience. He said, but the day will come when authentic Chris comes out. And when that day comes, you will lose every bit of your audience because they were never attracted to you personally. So if you start and stay authentic from day one, you
Day
may
one.
grow slower, but you'll grow with the right audience.
That's right. And you'll maintain an audience that believes in you because they see your authenticity.
Mhm.
Yeah. So tell everybody how they can find you.
I'm easy. Daphne Maxwell Reid.com.
That makes it very easy.
Yeah.
I made it very easy.
Mhm.
And please go there and see all the different things that I do and the books that I've written. I've got a cookbook out. I've got note cards. I've got my style line. I've got
Wow.
tote bags,
Mhm.
limited
Woo!
edition tote
Awesome.
bags.
Yeah.
And there's lots of things to show you some of the gifts that I have been given.
Love that.
Oh,
And
love
we
it.
really enjoyed having you on the show
We
today. And we
did,
definitely
yes.
look forward to having you back down the road.
Mhm.
Thank you. And best to you guys. Enjoy your life, every moment of it.
We will. And you
We
too.
will. You too. Thanks so much
All
for
right.
your time today. Yeah.
Take care, guys.